storm. And these PennDOT workers do great work every single day, and it is important that they be noticed and recognized and appreciated by the people of Pennsylvania. I think these are, in many ways, unsung heroes in our communities who oftentimes go unnoticed, and I want them to be noticed because I appreciate them. I appreciate what they do every single day. And I especially appreciate the Secretary of PennDOT, Mike Carroll, who joins me today. He'll say a few words in a moment. His leadership here at PennDOT has been critical. You all got to know him when 95 collapsed, and we were on the ground for 12 straight days getting that road reopened. But I also want you to know him in these moments that often don't get as much attention, to see the incredible work that he and his team do. I'm really, really proud of them. What was so unique about this storm was nearly every one of our 67 counties got hit. This Ben Salem area got about 11 inches of snow. I think Clarion County got the most. They were right around 24 inches, but everybody felt the impact. About 9 inches in Philly, about 11 inches out in Pittsburgh. So PennDOT was busy all across this Commonwealth, working incredibly hard. The good news is the public worked with us. They stayed off the roads to give PennDOT an opportunity to get out and clear the roads. And so we really want to thank the public. I'd also note that one of the things we worry about in storms like this, particularly where there's some icing and in the back half of the storm we get some sleet and freezing rain, we worry a lot about power outages because the weight of the snow can bring down those power lines. About an hour ago, last check, we had just under 600 homes statewide without power. So that's obviously a very small number, and our utilities are working really hard to get those people back up and running. I thought the school districts did a really terrific job, and most businesses did, by allowing workers and students to either stay home today and enjoy the snow, or some of them probably had to learn from home today virtually. But the fact is, being off the road and being home today is going to continue to allow PennDOT to go out and clean up the last remaining roads and make sure that any of these spots that are wet won't freeze up overnight. They'll be out treating them with salt throughout the day. PennDOT has done an extraordinary job here. Their leader has done a great job, not just dealing with this storm, but preparing for this storm. I want the Secretary to talk about some of the work that went on here to get us ready, some of the investments that we've had to make that allowed us to have a successful operation here in the storm. So let me bring up Secretary Mike Carroll from PennDOT for a few comments, and I'd be happy to take your questions. Mr. Secretary.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. And as the governor said, what happened yesterday across Pennsylvania and here in Bucks County was a team win. The team included PennDOT, our partners at the state police and PEMA, the public, the trucking community, literally, Governor, the folks across the spectrum did their part to help us really successfully deal with what is a very large winter storm these days. Governor, the investment that you made in PennDOT's fleet, an additional $150 million over the first 3 years of your administration, allowed us to really ramp up the quality of our equipment across the state, including here in Southeast PA. So we've had a tremendous response to this storm. I'm thankful for the public's participation, and really across the board, this really was a team win. We don't have many storms these days that have north of 12 inches of snow in one event, but when they happen, as was the case yesterday, it's proof that we are ready, Governor, to be able to meet the needs of the public and serve the people across the state, including here in Southeast PA. So I'm thankful for the work that was done by everybody. Governor, we're ready.
Good. Thank you, Mr. Secretary.
Okay. Yep.
Will you take a moment and introduce your team? I'm really proud of these guys, and I want the folks to know who they are.
So sure, behind me is Tom Rogel. He's PennDOT's Assistant District Executive for Maintenance. Mike Quaglia, behind me, is the Bucks County Manager, and please help me with your name.
Dave Herzog.
Herzog. Dave Herzog is the Assistant County Manager. So our Bucks County leadership here and our district leadership out of King of Prussia, folks like these folks really are what makes PennDOT successful. You know, I get to stand in front of this microphone and talk about the wonderful things that happen, but truly the folks that wear the vests and the hard hats and the steel-toed boots, they're the true heroes. The men and women across this state that operate this equipment that we're able to give them, Governor, they are what makes a difference. And so their coordination yesterday, again, as I said, with the state police and PEMA and so many others across state government, really made our response to the storm what I would characterize as total success from Erie to Philly and everywhere in between.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Secretary. I'll take some questions. I do just want to stress one other point. As we prepared for this storm, you know, we had our emergency team in place doing all the preparations. That emergency team obviously included the Secretary of PennDOT, but I want to say a special thanks to Colonel Bivens, the acting commissioner of the Pennsylvania State Police, General Pippy, the Adjutant General of the Pennsylvania National Guard, Randy Padfield, who leads PEMA, and many other members of my administration, including our Chief of Staff, Dana Fritz. This team did a great job getting us prepared. And again, these are folks who oftentimes you don't see out front, and they deserve a lot of credit and a lot of praise from the good people of Pennsylvania for the great work they did. So with that, if you have any questions, we're happy to answer them. Yeah, sure.
Governor Brian Sharon, C10. The storm's out here now. We're entering the stretch of prolonged cold. Right. In New Jersey, the new governor, Mike Shapiro, last week signed an executive order freezing new utility rate hikes to combat rising costs. People are going to be having their heat on for a long period of time. What's the Commonwealth doing to help people stay warm and combat these rising prices?
For sure. I mean, in terms of staying warm, we're working closely with all of the utilities to make sure the power stays on, and it stays on for everyone, particularly those who are low income. That's thing number one. Thing number two is, I think you've seen I've been very aggressive at holding PJM. They are the ones that set rates and work to coordinate 13 states to drive out the power, holding them accountable for price hikes. In fact, they wanted to raise prices on Pennsylvania consumers last year. I sued them and won, and we were able to stave off about an $18 billion price increase across those 13 states. We're continuing to work with PJM to bring down costs. Just last week, I was with a bipartisan group of governors at the White House, where we joined together state and federal government to be able to hold down prices going forward. Next week, I'll be delivering my annual budget address or State of the State address, where I intend to talk about next steps we're going to be taking in this effort to be able to curb utility price hikes. And I believe that we will be able to show very concrete next steps in that space. I don't want to get too far ahead on this, but last week I had all of the utility leaders from across the state in my office talking about some concrete steps they can take to remove some junk fees that appear on people's bills and other things that are contributing to higher costs for Pennsylvania consumers. So we've made real progress. We've stopped the price hikes that PJM wanted, but I'm not satisfied. We've got to continue to cut costs for Pennsylvanians.
One more question about we heard 3 deaths, snow-related deaths in Lehigh County. I believe they were shoveling cleanup related. Have you heard about any other deaths across the Commonwealth?
I have not. I'm going to allow Lehigh County officials to speak to that. I don't want to get ahead of the locals on that.
Governor?
Yes.
A question possibly Secretary Carroll can answer. You took a tour with the city of Philadelphia. They make their own brine. Does Pennsylvania PennDOT, do they manufacture their own brine, or how does that get done?
Yes, we do. We have brine making facilities at many counties across the Commonwealth, and so of course PennDOT makes brine. That's the salt liquid that is applied to the roadways in advance of the storm in an effort to try and keep the roads clear.
Is there a specific kind of salt that is needed? I've noticed that some depots have brown salt, others that you buy in the city, they have, it's a little more clear or bluer tint. Is there any kind of difference to that?
No, salt is salt. And as it comes from the salt mines, it might have a different hue to it, but salt.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. That was the most on-topic question I think we've ever gotten. That was a great question.
Thank you.
Anything else? Yes.
How many tons did you have in the beginning, and how many does PennDOT have now installed?
You mean statewide or here in Bucks County?
Well, both.
So Bucks County, Tom, what's the map?
Bucks County, what do
Come
we
on,
have?
Tom.
Michael?
Just speak in the microphone.
Oh, I apologize.
Go ahead, Michael.
Go ahead, Mike.
Well, we started the event with 14,000 tons. We're currently probably about 9,000. We don't have a total yet with the storm. We're still calculating, but we're at about 9,000 tons right now in Bucks County.
Can you just put that in some perspective? Is that enough to allow you to deal with future storms?
Yes, I don't have totals for this storm. The previous storm, we used about 4,000 tons, and that was a 2-day storm. That was last weekend, correct. It was a different type of storm. So this type of storm, we don't spread as much, you're plowing more, and then you're spreading more in the end of the storm than you are through the entire storm. Where a smaller storm will eat more material up, which we'll go through it faster. So we have, what did I tell you, Dave? 15,000 on order, tons of salt on order to come into Bucks County this week.
So
Plenty
you
of salt.
can still get it because I heard in Lower Bigfield that there was no salt left.
Yeah. Go ahead, Tom.
Yeah, the department has plenty of salt on hand. We had 70,000 ton in District 6 before this event. Naturally, as Mike mentioned, payrolls and stuff will hit and we'll get our totals. We have orders in advance of this event, and those are contractual orders that we have. So yes, we will not have any issues receiving and maintaining salt. We have had some requests come in from local township and municipalities that needed some assistance with salt. There is a process that they can follow through their EMA director, through PEMA, and then it comes back down to the counties and the district and myself and Mike, and we have been assisting some townships to get through the event until they get their orders in. In a lot of cases, they don't have near the storage capacity that we do. So we have a larger storage capacity, so there is times in a winter like this where we do help our municipal partners.
Great. Thanks, Tom. Anything else?
Excuse me?
Okay. Thank you all very much. Stay warm, enjoy the snow, and these fine folks at PennDOT are going to keep doing a wonderful job for us. Thanks, everybody.
All right, everyone, we've been listening to Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro there in Bensalem, Bucks County, flanked by PennDOT officials and other local officials giving us an update on the winter storm response throughout the state. The governor starting by just a heartfelt thank you to PennDOT workers who have been working around the clock to clear the roads throughout the Commonwealth. Every county in the Commonwealth, all 67 counties, were affected by this storm, and only 600 homes right now throughout the state are without power, and they are working to get those homes back up and running with power. Now, PennDOT ultimately saying a team win here has happened because folks did their part in helping PennDOT clear the roads unhampered. Plenty of salt available. They're still salting the roads and tackling some spots there that need to be tackled at this point. But again, a team win according to PennDOT at this point. So Philadelphia Mayor Sherrell Parker is also going to be talking at 3 o'clock today about the city's response to this winter storm. You'll be able to watch that live as well right here on CBS Philadelphia and on our streaming channel. And then we'll have full team coverage for you of the cleanup on CBS News Philadelphia at 4 o'clock. Until then, we return you to regularly scheduled programming.